Is going on? What's going on? Charles Botensten here.
Let's get right to it. Productivity hacks. So what is a hack? All right, a hack. There's certain types of hacks. Let's just go over that really quickly. Okay, a hack. Most people think that they can hack making money. They can hack getting smarter, getting in shape, getting into a relationship. And then once you're in a relationship, once you actually have money, once you actually have something that you wanted to hack, the hardest thing is actually to keep yourself in that position, okay? The hardest thing in life is actually to keep you at the top or to keep it consistent. Why? It's the same reason I get asked all the time, Charles, why do you eat the same food? Why? Why do you wear the same clothes without any, yes, I get them cleaned, but I don't go shopping. Last time I went shopping was years ago. So essentially this productivity hack really comes down, the first one is, and I said it on my Instagram, but I really wanted to expand on it here, is that the first one is that when you're really not that successful, or you're in a job that you're just pushing papers, or you're just doing just individual tasks, is that that's not good. You're essentially doing as many tasks as you can. The opposite is true, is that as you get more successful, you start doing bigger and bigger things. Okay, Jeff Bezos has talked about this. Jeff Bezos says if he makes one good decision, and by the way, he gets to work at 10, not saying that he's not working until then, but he gets to work at 10. So essentially, you do a bunch of shit, you do all these tasks and to-dos when you're unsuccessful, and then you have this one big thing when you become successful. So this is the first thing. Do that now. Do that one big thing. Okay, for me, it's putting my listing checklist when I have a new listing, is putting it on something instead of Google Docs. I have a new system, I just bought it, it's new software, it's easy to use. That's a big thing. Should I be doing it? No, but I need to because I'm the only one that actually understands it because I created it, okay? That's a big freaking thing. However, think of the opposite. The person that's going to be doing that one big listing checklist is not me. It's going to be someone else. So the first thing is do the big thing. That sounds basic. It's exactly what is talked about in Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. It's exactly what's talked about in That One Thing by Gary Keller. Yes, do the number one thing, the biggest priority. But when you actually think about it, it's actually not good to walk away and say, I did a lot of stuff today. I did a ton. I did 20 items today. That's not good because that doesn't actually push the rock far enough where you say, I can hire someone to do what I just did, maybe in 2 years or in a year, okay? The second thing is when you do have a lot of rocks, okay? Or maybe you have a lot of tasks, you have to prioritize the priorities. This is so basic, but the problem is we do the easiest thing. We return something on Amazon. We go to the bank. We buy something on Amazon, or we do the things that we want to do. Okay? We do the things that we want to do. But that's not the priority. Okay? I finally cleaned my office. It's probably months later. It's so much cleaner. Look at that. Do you remember the big green screen? The big green screen is in here. And the reason being is we're going to put a booth behind me, and it's a privacy booth. It's expensive. I have now opted on the one that I want. And that's the thing is that so here it is in action. On Monday, I'm now going to be making expired calls. I have the system. It's called Vulcan 7. That means I can make as many calls just back to back as I load up into the system. I think the max is 200 at one time, but you're not going to make 200 phone calls because you're going to go insane. I'm probably not going to go for the limited edition, and the reason being is that 6 to 8 weeks, a month and a half to 2 months is a long time for Eric, the guy that's in here, not to be making calls. But he could be in, there are other booths, but they're out there. We might have someone, I'm talking to someone, I don't know, we might hire him, we might not. I don't know if he watches these videos. He may watch these videos because he said something to someone and he said that he watched these videos. So obviously I'm gonna be meeting with him on Tuesday. What I'm getting at is on Monday, I'm finally getting the picture that I thought I would have implemented years ago. I come in, I do the hardest thing, the biggest rock. As you get more successful, you do the big thing. You don't do the little things. You don't look at the MLS, make show sheets, post on Instagram, post on social media. I want to give all that shit away. Okay? So essentially this is the hierarchy. This is the ideal hierarchy. Monday I come in, I make my calls. Okay? I make my follow-ups. Okay? I do the presentations. Eric, he is the one that's essentially going to be running the show when we get new listings. Here's the checklist. This is what we need to do. Schedule the photographer, schedule the videographer. And then Danny, the other guy that if it works out, it works out, is going to be essentially doing that. I'm going to be moving up. As we hire more agents, they're going to be taking on listings and giving it to Danny. Danny, if he gets overwhelmed, is going to move up. He knows the system. He knows how I work. Danny went from a lot of shitty tasks that he didn't want to do the big tasks of, say, managing people, transactions, talking to clients, paying out people, doing things that are bigger. So if you are still doing a lot of tasks, it's time to move on to another job, because there might not be the trajectory that you want. Okay? That's as honest as it gets. And honestly, I would, and I've said this a lot, journal for 15 minutes today. No distractions, and there's no point. You write shit. I have gas. I should eat a salad tomorrow. I want to wake up. It's called brain dumping. I first saw it at Brian Buffini's real estate success tour. That's what it's called. He's a real estate coach. And you put on Baroque music if you want. I think no music is better. And essentially you just write what's on your mind. And the reason is that you have to brain dump if you are not meditating. If you're not going to the gym, you have to brain dump. If you're playing with yourself too much, you have to brain dump, because that is distracting you from your priorities. Okay? The last thing I'm going to say before I go, because I need to get a salad, and because I'm a nice guy and I bring happiness, they're giving it to me for free. And that will probably be a post on Instagram. They're giving me a free salad, so I'm going to go banana hammocks, and I'm going to get a shit ton of awesome toppings that I like. All healthy stuff, because I have a 2.5-hour run right after a 1-hour bike. So this is essentially what I've been thinking lately, is that so many people, when they do have a moment of silence, they go to their phone, okay? I've talked about this before. Post pictures of the salad. That's a good one. I actually might. Thank you, Chris. So post pictures of the salad. So this is the thing, is that we have our quirks when we get distracted. Okay? Mine is that, I don't know, because I re-downloaded Instagram for the weekend, and it would be that if that was permanent. But we all have the area of focus that we go when we're distracted. And if we can eliminate that, what do we do? Do we either fill it with something that is a priority, or do we actually hope to download that again and then redo it? So in other words, for me, when I don't have Instagram on my phone, it might be email, or it might be I don't know, going on YouTube. That's mine. So I thought about it and I said, why am I here? What am I getting from this? I'm actually getting nothing. So essentially, this is what I'm going to say is, if you are still doing a lot of tasks, leave your job, or at least think of leaving your job. If you have a lot of tasks, prioritize the priorities. When you get distracted, you have to do something different than that. So essentially it could be Instagram or Facebook or something, okay? But that's the thing is that during that time, why am I going on it, okay? It's because you're bored. Why are you bored? Because your mind can only focus for 45 minutes at a time, 60 minutes tops. So you actually have to bake that into your sessions. Cal Newport called it deep work. So essentially you have your deep work session, 60 minutes, 15 minutes off, 60 minutes, 15 minutes off, okay? I can tell you, if I go 2 hours of phone calls, I'm a shitty human being when it comes to lunch. I'm a disaster. I'm not the same human. I am not social. And the reason being is I just drained myself all the way. So it's like recharging a battery. I drained it so far that I'm a dead battery. And there's times that I come from an appointment or a pitch and I say, I need to recharge this by not looking at my phone. I probably have tons of messages and emails and things to call on clients and whatever. And then the second thing is, this is good for me. So I essentially concentrate on one thing in the subway car, or while I'm walking down the street, I concentrate on one thing and I put my focus towards there, and that actually helps. So instead of looking around and worrying about what other people think, and this is another thing, okay? Too many people care about, so I was walking around the subway, I was walking around with a vacuum cleaner, all right? And people are looking at me. And it's funny because maybe even 7 months ago, I would actually care. I'd be like, why is everyone looking at me? I'm carrying a vacuum cleaner. It's not a big deal. But that's the thing is that people care so much. I noticed that. And I dropped it and the wheel flew off and then another piece flew off. And I'm literally putting this together in the subway, in a nasty subway too. It's West 4th, which is a shitty subway one, on the floor. And I'm putting it together, and people are looking over, and I'm like, wow. I'm glad I've gotten to the point where I care less. I don't care, blah blah blah. Another thing that I saw by someone that's an influencer, she said that people feel entitled because they have a lot of followers. Okay, so she has 75,000. And she said that she has a disdain for other influencers that feel entitled to free things. I'll give you an example. I was out with my videographer. His girlfriend also has, I think, 70,000 people. She gets free shit, okay? Free shit, free things. So she travels and she hits up the hotels and the food places, and she feels like she should be getting it. Nothing is owed to you. All right. So have an amazing day. I know that wasn't really the greatest of all rants, but the minor things of productivity and the way that you're spending your time, the one question that you should always be asking, is this time, is what I'm doing the highest priority of my time? Is this actually important? And then when you bring that self-awareness, you notice I'm doing a lot of stupid shit. That's really what it comes down to. Prioritize the priorities, and of course, do the big things. Have an amazing day. I'm going to go get my salad, and I'll post it on Instagram.